Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss the third type of muscle variety, which is labeled under the heading of involuntary or non-striated, you would say, or smooth muscle. Let me tell you one thing, that this is the most primitive muscle or first muscle variety to evolve or originate ever since life. So let's see the structure, that these smooth muscles are being named because they do not show cross striation under light microscope. And where you find them? You find them such muscle variety in the hollow viscera as in your GIT and in the walls of the blood vessels. And in addition to these, you can find them in the other hollow viscera like in your respiratory apparatus and in genital ducts as well, and in the urinary system. What they do, now we have to focus on the shape of the smooth muscle cell or individual smooth muscle fiber. They look like fusiform in shape, having a central more wider area with the tapering both ends, and the size definitely vary, could be as small as 20 micrometer in the blood vessel, and could be as much as thick in the pregnant uterus. You can label them as 500 micrometer. Their diameter could be 6 micrometers, so it's variable, highly variable, you can see. And another thing, that they sometimes individually form fascicles, or in the region like your intestine, you would say, they are present in the form of the sheath or bands. They are densely packed, closely approximated. They are in a sense that you can see that the wider portion of the fusiform cell lies against the tapering portion or narrow portion of the adjacent cell, and as a result, in longitudinal section you see smooth muscles. They appear as a jigsaw puzzle or mosaic like appearance, and in the cross section you can find them having the circular form or triangular form or polygonal form of various diameters. And you see the wider diameter part is showing the nuclei in it, and the smaller parts definitely will be not showing the nuclei, and we will come across that they are the tapering ends of the cell. Another very good picture, that is showing the longitudinal section and transverse section of the smooth muscles. In this very picture, every cell which is being having the cell membrane or sarcolemma is an ordinary trilaminar membrane they have mentioned, and is being surrounded by the external lamina. What they do, this external lamina has got reticular fibers in them, and they serve to bind the smooth muscle fibers with each other. But what is special, the neighboring smooth muscles are interconnected by each other through gap junctions, and this intercellular communication is basically required to regulate the integrated contraction of the entire sheet or bundle of the smooth muscle. Now in this very picture, you can see that the smooth muscle fibers, they are holding a single rod shaped nucleus in the very center. Present the thicker central portion of the fusiform cell. Now you can see that below the diagram of the smooth muscle in a contracted state, what happens due to the result of contraction, the nuclei now appearing as a corkscrew. So the contraction during fixation process is shown that the shape of the nucleus varies in this contracted state than that of the relaxed state of the smooth muscle. A little bit about the cytoplasm, that is showing the contractile apparatus inside the sarcoplasm. So what they are made up of? They are made up of thick and thin filaments and a cytoskeleton of intermediate filament. the thin filament composed of protein actin, and these form bundles and arranged longitudinally and obliquely in the cytoplasm. And the thick filament, they basically run parallel to that of thin filament. Now, you are looking into a picture in which you can see that the actin filament and myofilament, how they are being there, and there is another intermediate filament made up of desmin or sometimes viamectin, and they are going to be attached to a special structure called as dense body, which is made up of alpha actinin, and they are acting as a anchoring structure for the attachment of, you can say, the actin filaments and the intermediate filament. And this is how this whole, they are replacing the T tubules and Z lines in the smooth muscle and meant for contraction to be taken place inside the smooth muscle. This is a very good picture so that you can learn about the structure, how they are appearing. And on the very margin of the myosin filaments, you can see the head in a golf like stick pattern, and in the above part of this picture you can see the relaxed state of the smooth muscle with the tapering end, in which you can see the alpha actinin containing cytoplasmic densities called dense bodies, and the nucleus is there like a rod like structure, and the actin myosin filaments are not showing a particular crisscross arrangement, not like that of skeletal muscle, so won't be able to depict as a cross striations. Now see the contracted state again. Here you can see the corkscrew appearance of the nucleus due to the contraction of the smooth muscle. It's very good elaborated in this picture. Another picture to show you the dense body, and see how two smooth muscles or adjacent cells physically coupled at dense bodies. You can see the nucleus, and in the second picture the two muscles are there, and in the highlighted picture you can see the thick and thin filament attached, and on both edges you would be able to see the dense bodies. Now, as you know that the cell of the smooth muscles, they do not exhibit cross striation, because we know myofibrils of the smooth muscle are highly labile or unstable and not as orderly arranged as those of the skeletal muscle. And inside that diagram, you can see various this invagination of the plasma membrane. These are called as caveoli, and they are short membranous invagination found near the surface of the cell. And what they do, they are basically meant to contain several pumps and ion channels. What they do, they organize protein signaling calcium release at myofibrils. So, and in this way contractile activity is generated by a myofibril array of actin and myosin. So you can find here that in this very cell, the concentration of the mitochondria, polyribosomes, rough endoplasmic reticulum and Golgi apparatus is there near the nucleus, and the fibers of the sarcoplasmic reticulum are rudimentary because they lack the T tubules, and but many gap junctions are there for their functioning. Okay, something about the nerve supply of the smooth muscle being supplied, as you know, by the sympathetic and parasympathetic fibers, postganglionic and unmyelinated, and these among these, the first type called as multi-unit smooth muscle, that is rich in their nerve supply near all muscle cells, and they receive nerve terminals. We find such muscle or multi-unit smooth muscle in that of your iris and ductus deferens. Because of its rich innervation, what happens? They are capable of producing precise and graded contraction. The second type is called as unitary smooth muscle, which are relatively, you would say, poor nerve supply, having in them only few muscles have nerve terminals. And what is happening here? The nerve impulse passes from cell to cell via gap junction, and you find them in the visceral smooth muscle or vascular muscle, and they have to perform their function in a syncytial fashion because individual muscle fibers cannot contract separately. You find such movement in the hollow viscera and that of the blood vessel. And here in the very center, you can see the neurons of the myelinated nerve plexus in between the longitudinal section of the smooth muscle and the cross section. And the cross section and longitudinal section, as they are present in a form of a sheet, but they are at right angle to that of each other. Okay, now you can see the picture of the this blood vessel in which you can see the smooth muscles are being arranged circularly. And one thing that is left, last but not the least, is about the regeneration of the smooth muscle. We are very well clear about it that these cells are capable of more active regeneration. After injury, the viable smooth muscles undergo mitosis and replace the damaged one. And contractile pericytes from the walls of the small blood vessels also participate in the repair of the vascular smooth muscle. So the this activity of regeneration is very rapid in the smooth muscles because of the, we can say, the small and less differentiated these cells are, and they allow renewal mitotic activity very good after injury. Now coming towards the chart in the last, to revise and to sum up again, you can see the smooth muscles, the shape, how fusiform they are appearing, and location is very much clear in the viscera, in the hollow organs, in the vessels, and definitely the connective tissue component is being covered by the endomysium, and they form the sheet and the bundles. And fibers are or cells are single with a single nucleus. Striation, none, you would say. Nucleus is single, rod-like but central. T-tubules, none. Well developed smooth endoplasmic reticulum if there. Many invagination and vesicles similar to that of cavuli, which we explained earlier, are there, and they all are replacing the T-tubules to be present if required. Cell to cell junction, they have mentioned this gap junctions are there. Special features are again dense bodies. We discussed cavuli and the cytoplasmic vesicle you can find over there. Innervation are involuntary and autonomic, definitely. Type of contraction is slow, sustained, partial, rhythmic, spontaneous contraction, and you can say that it is the pacemaker of the stomach. You can find in these intestinal organs. And what about that? The regulation of contraction is through the phosphorylation of the inside myofilaments that causes the contraction, and regeneration and growth is very much good. It's present over there. Any damage leading to hypertrophy and hyperplasia.